The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Partnerships to help kids on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Cedar Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up and we'll get into all sorts of controversies with them, so stay tuned for that. Between now and then, some great guests and important information coming your way. Talking about important, what could be better to talk about than partnerships that help kids? And we have three experts in that field. My good buddy on the right, Griff Schuler, with the Daggett Schuler Law Firm, and he brought two special guests, and they've been here before too. Michael Amadon and Mike Kennedy are co-founders of Beyond Sports NC. Good to see you all.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Michael, I'm going to start with you. What's the mission of Beyond Sports, in case somebody hasn't heard about it so far? Very, very quickly.
Yeah, so our mission is to create intentional opportunities for kids to play sports. We do that by providing access to sports through opportunities, equipment, and resources to low-income, underserved areas.
Right, because a lot of these schools just can't afford sports equipment, that kind of thing. Now, something that's fairly new, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's called, you sent me an email about it, Operation Triad Play. What's that all about?
Operation Triad Play is a partnership that we developed with the police department. We started in Greensboro by providing sports equipment to police cruisers, that to have the sports equipment in their cars when they're out on patrol or they're responding to a domestic call that kids are involved. It's an opportunity for police officers to connect with kids using the sports equipment.
Yeah, pick up on that a little bit, Mike. I mean, some people might be wondering, of all the things you can do to help kids, and you do a lot, why use sports equipment as sort of the connector between kids, the community, police? Why that?
Well, we use equipment to connect in everything that we do. I mean, it's the thing that you can just put out there that forms that instant bond, that instant connection.
Don't even need any language.
You don't even need any language. It breaks down all barriers and things, and it just gives us an opportunity for me and you to create a relationship through the use of a ball.
And especially good when you've got police officers doing that kind of a connectivity, because that sets up a good relationship long term.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of our goal is to really get that potential first interaction between a child and an officer to be a real positive one.
Right, Griff. So I'm wondering, why do you and David and your team at Daggett Schuler, why are you involved with this particular program with Beyond Sports?
But this is an exciting partnership that we have. Daggett Schuler is a key sponsor with Beyond Sports, who's supported by Fusion, which most people in the community are familiar with. But this is an exciting program where we've actually got bags of balls and chalk and other things that are being placed in the squad cars of the police departments around the Triad. So it involves the Greensboro Police Department, the Winston-Salem Police Department, and we're having a big announcement with the High Point Police Department, where we're physically putting the bags of all these equipment in the squad cars of the police officers, so when they are out in the community, they can immediately connect up with the kids in the community through the use of the equipment.
I just think that's great, and this is something that in a sense is not new to you and David, because you've helped with backpacks and things like that. Quickly, before we run out of time, how important is that kind of partnership with folks like with Daggett Schuler?
It's fantastic to have even more people within the community and sponsorship to these types of programs. It's just been a really great partnership, and we're really excited about what they're going to do within the community.
You ever need volunteers? Or?
We always need volunteers.
All right, well, let me put something up on screen for donations and volunteers. BeyondSportsNC.com is the website that you can go to. And also, if you ever need the services of Griff and David and his team, you can go to DaggettSchulerLaw.com, or you can call them directly at 336-724-1234. I can't tell the three of you, I mean, we kid around sometimes about stuff, but this is a very, very important program, helping the kids, helping them connect into the community. And I just appreciate what all of you are doing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And I'll thank David later on, because he's going to be on the roundtable, but he's involved in this too. We'll be right back after this.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive.
And we know you will make a difference wherever you go.
UNCG. Find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, and I know this isn't very profound, but all of us deserve a second chance for different reasons at different times. And we have two lovely ladies with us right now that know all about second chances. They're going to represent Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina in a special program. Wendy Martin's reentry coordinator there, and Jordan Joins as an employment services manager. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Wendy, let me start with you. When we talk about reentry services, what do we mean?
Reentry services are for justice-involved individuals transitioning back from incarceration. The transitional services hopefully will end in employment, which gives them a better chance of success. The transitional services that we offer are your traditional things such as training, resume writing.
Yeah, but this isn't easy. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is, coming out from being incarcerated, a lot of challenges and barriers and obstacles, right?
Absolutely. The biggest challenge, I believe, is that employers have a misconception, some do, of people coming from incarceration. The folks that we work with have made poor choices in the past, and they have been incarcerated, served their time or whatever sentence they had for that, and now they're ready to just get employed. Another big challenge for them would be the skills gap. Technology moves fast, and it's a challenge especially for people who've been gone for a while, a couple of years, and a lot of the work we do is to help them so that they're not overwhelmed or get frustrated with that.
And you say for people who've been incarcerated, now are your services available? What's the eligibility requirement on this?
I'm glad you asked. The eligibility is to be pretty much just justice involved. We have the reentry services. The Project Reentry is inside of the North Carolina prison system, and we also have program on the outside. And in all that, Jordan and I are from Iredell County. So not only in the Triad region, if you have a person who is from, West North Carolina, which is the area that we serve, that needs those services, then they can absolutely give us a call and we can assist them and their families.
Jordan, we didn't rehearse this or anything, but I'm thinking about, people that come out from being incarcerated and let's say they have a family. Can the families get help from you guys? Do they benefit from these kind of services or what?
Absolutely. That's a big part of the services that Wendy and Goodwill offer for individuals and their families.
Yeah. And how can the community get involved to help support what you guys do?
So an easy way to get involved is just by simply shopping and donating at our Goodwill stores, because all of that money comes back into our workforce development and mission services to be able to provide this to our individuals for no cost to them or their families.
Right, and it's such a simple thing because you have things laying around the house that you don't need, slightly used, take them over, donate them, they end up in the Goodwill store. Somebody comes in and hey, this is a great bargain, I'm going to buy this item. Proceeds from that go right back into these programs like we're talking about with Wendy and Jordan. Wendy, do you have a sense of, putting you on the spot here, of how these services have benefited the folks? Do you get feedback? Do you have a sense of, is it making a difference?
Absolutely. We do track our recidivism rate, which is considerably lower than your normal average Joe who's released. And we do a lot of work, a lot of follow-up. We work with these people, and even if it's 10 years from now and they find themselves in a jam, can't get employed, find themselves where they may return to that lifestyle or whatever, they can always give us a call. We can always also assist if we're not in a county that they're in, we can connect them with services there, and we do a lot of referral to community resources.
Right. Very quickly, what's gratifying to you about what you do?
I think just seeing people have a change in their life, seeing that second chance and that opportunity, and just seeing them take that and rise to their greatest opportunities.
Well, up on screen, I want to put the general website up there. Goodwill NWNC stands for Northwest North Carolina. GoodwillNWNC.org, as I say, is a general website, which I hope you will check out. To Wendy and Jordan, I really appreciate what you're doing. to helping the community, because what you do helps a lot of people. And I hope you'll come back and give me an update, will you?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, and for those of you that are not familiar with the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, they do so many great things for folks. We like to check in with their team every once in a while and see what they're up to. And today we have a first-time visitor to the show. Haley Bach is environmental educator for PTRC. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For somebody that's just moved in, new in the area, maybe you ought to just explain to them very quickly what the mission of PTRC, what are you guys all about?
Right. So the mission of PTRC is to improve the quality of our communities through regional solutions. We have 5 departments. We have aging, community and workforce development, criminal justice, and regional planning. Within regional planning is where Stormwater Smart, my sub-department.
We're going to get to the stormwater thing in just a second. And I think it was either you or Danica sent me an email about something called Creek Weeks.
Yes.
Creek Weeks. Now, I'm not even going to hazard a guess. What is that all about?
So Creek Weeks are annual events that happen all across the state. They're week-long. They happen from March through October, and they often gather communities and local governments together just to make people aware of water quality and conservation and kind of celebrate water because it's important. And often the events that you're going to find within Creek Week are going to be cleanups or educational workshops surrounding water.
Now, I have heard of the cleanup thing too. Now, what kind of success stories have we had from Creek Weeks that you can maybe share with us?
Right, so a story I like to share is North Carolina Stream Watch, which is a program that was actually developed through the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. This is a program that we adapted and we're trying to expand because it's so successful. It helps to get the community members out into the environment and hands-on with the creeks and the streams. Hands-on is always more successful, and outdoors is always more successful as well.
Right.
So it's a fun activity for both the educator and the community members.
Now, I see that you're real young, but now do you have older people helping with Creek Weeks too?
I mean, there's a variety of ages. It ranges honestly from young to older. So.
Also, I think you sent me an email about the fact that the programs you're doing with Creek Weeks sort of complement what's going on with the North Carolina Climate Action Corps.
Right.
Maybe people aren't familiar with that, so tell me how that works.
So North Carolina Climate Action Corps is going to be part of AmeriCorps, which is a national organization. I'm a part of Climate Action Corps and Resilience Corps, which focuses more on climate-related issues, Creek Week being one of them, water-related activities. But it's kind of a broader umbrella. It kind of focuses on everything from agriculture to food to water. So,
sure.
Yeah, and it's all across the state.
Now, Stormwater Smart programs, how can people learn more about that?
So you can go to our website, stormwatersmart.org, or you can follow us on our social media at stormwater_smart.
You know, I'm just curious, we didn't rehearse this or anything, but how did you get an interest in all this, in the environment, in protecting the water and protecting the resources, and doing the job that you're doing? I mean, did you have an interest early on as a little girl, or is this something you developed in college, or how did that whole thing evolve?
I would definitely say it developed in college. I majored in public health in college, and graduated in 2022. So ever since then, I've been working closely with PFAS and water-related issues and agriculture. So, yeah.
And when we talk about stormwater and some of these things and protecting the streams, it really affects everything, which I guess makes sense because PTRC is in so many areas, like you said.
Right.
You know, if there's a problem with the water, that's going to affect our ability to attract industry.
Right.
That's going to affect our ability to attract jobs. I mean, everything's sort of connected in your world, right?
Exactly.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so, we're connected through food and water, right? So water is one of the most important things that connects us all, and kind of just those educational programs, making people aware, that's kind of where everything started for me. So, yeah.
Yeah. What gratification do you get out of doing this job? Because sometimes you talk to people and say, well, I hate my job, or I don't know, I'm looking for something else. But I can see in your eyes you like what you're doing. What's gratifying about it?
Oh, I love what I do. I think that being able to educate so many communities in North Carolina, the communities in North Carolina hold so close to my heart. I've lived here my entire life, my full 22 years.
Yeah.
So,
boy, that's old. I can't imagine,
I've ranged from the coast all the way to the Piedmont in educational programming. So being able to talk to kids or adults, it really is close to my heart.
I can tell. And I appreciate all you're doing. Up on screen, ptrc.org / or just slash stormwater smart. ptrc.org/stormwater smart is a way in there. You can also go to friendsofcreekweek.org is another one to check out. But I tell you what, Haley, I appreciate all you're doing and what the organization's doing, and our salute to PTRC for all they're doing for the area. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today, and I always like it when we can spend a few minutes with some of the good folks at UNCG, and I say that because I was a graduate of UNCG 150 years ago, and but you know, things have changed over that long period of time, and we have somebody here who's up to date on things, and she knows everything because she is Director of Admissions. Erin Slater's with us. Welcome, fellow Spartan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, it's a big commitment for kids to think about going to college. And so I'm just wondering in general, you don't have to give specifics, but it's in general, are there any tips that families and students should know when they're thinking about, you know, who to choose or admissions? What should they be thinking about?
Yeah, one of my biggest tips, because this is important, right? They're going to spend their next 4 to 6 years. It's their home away from home.
Yeah.
Get on campus, visit. It's really important to become immersed in the community as much as you can before making such a big decision.
Right.
And so I want them to be able to see what the clubs and organizations are. We always say at UNCG we have such a large open mat, so the large doormat, and we want the students to walk on through and feel comfortable doing so.
Right.
Not just academically, but socially. Get into the dining hall, see the students, listen to the conversations that they're having. It's been beautiful outside here in North Carolina, and so watching the students and their clubs and organizations.
Right.
We have over 200 clubs and organizations for our Spartans to get involved in.
Yeah.
So what do they want to do? You find all of that out by visiting campus.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing too is it's even when you get there, it's stressful for freshmen. And so are there things and programs and things you have in place maybe to help them adjust?
Yes, absolutely. As much as we try to take that stress away, we know that first year, first few days, first minutes on campus can be incredibly stressful. One of my favorite things that UNCG has done is a mentorship program. So our first year students, and last year we had over 600 first year students get paired with upperclassmen at UNCG just to help show them just to show them the ropes. Dining hall hours, and then where to find support services. And so as you're visiting campus and as you're going through the process, right, and doing your research and your homework, you're able to figure out, you know, mental health resources, academic resources, whether that is classroom space or curriculum, or it's just a nap pod.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to ask you about curriculum. What about the kids that say, yeah, I think I know what I want to do. And then all of a sudden they're in there and they said, gosh, I think I'd like to change my major. I mean, does that happen a lot? What do you do to support them?
Yes, that was me. It was absolutely me multiple times, and so it's okay. And so we encourage our students to look at the course catalog, do their research. We have so many resources online, so on uncg.edu for students to find their major or to tinker a little bit. But we know that students are going to come in with an idea of what they want to do, and some stay with it, but a lot don't. And so our advising centers are absolutely incredible. You can change your mind if you want to or you need to. You can take courses that you think are of interest to you if you don't know. And then of course our faculty. We have such a culture of care at UNCG, and it starts with our faculty and our staff.
So it's normal to have to change things and adapt, and I know it can be kind of frightening sometimes. Now what about parents, grandparents? Is there anything else before we finish up that you think they should know about college admissions to communicate with their kids, and that the kids should know? Anything you want to leave us with? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. just support your student. We will support them when they get to UNCG. We have so many resources and just people on our campus that will be there for your student, but will be there for you too. And so just be there for your student through the process and know that we've got them at UNCG, and we're really excited to have the whole family as part of our family.
We didn't rehearse this or anything, but I can see in your eyes that you love this. I mean, what's gratifying to you about your job?
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm a first generation college student, and so education changed the trajectory of my life.
Right.
And so with the UNCG having over 50% first generation college student, the students that we serve, you can tell on our campus that the people love doing what they do, just as much if not more than I do. But again, education changed the trajectory of my life, and that's what I get to do for students every single day.
I know exactly what you're saying. Aaron, I thank you for what you're doing. Before I keep rambling on, let me put this up on screen. www.uncg.edu is the general website, which I hope you will check out. And some of you watching may end up meeting Aaron someday, like I just did. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Check out the garden, you can check out the website, come out here, you could rent the facility for weddings and receptions and all sorts of things. If you were here right now, you'd see these guys. On my right, but always a political left, Ogie Overman is here. David Daggett is here, who we salute for all his work in the community, and his partner Griff was on the show earlier talking about the program they're doing with Beyond Sports. David's very involved in that. And of course, Keith Granberry involved in many things to help the community. He's founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this first thing, but since we covered the 6th District congressional thing so closely, as you know, Donald Trump offered a job to Mark Walker to get him out of the race because there was going to be a runoff with Walker and McDowell. And Mark took it, so he's going to work for the Trump campaign. If Trump wins, he'll be in the Trump administration, and he gets a guarantee of Trump, if there can ever be that, to get his endorsement for an open seat later. 2 quick questions. Are you surprised that Trump has so much influence in the Triad? And number 2, does Mark have a clear path to take over, say, Virginia Fox's seat when she retires? Ogie.
Well, I don't know if surprised is the word, more disgusted and just dismayed and sickened. Mark's just gutless. I can't believe the sway that Trump has over there. I mean,
we thought Mark would have been a good...
He's already thrown him under the bus one time. Now, he would do it again easily.
Trump will do that to somebody. David, your reaction?
I think it's rigged.
That's right.
That was supposed to be funny.
No.
But who can predict politics? I mean, I don't know. It's weird.
Surprise you, Keith?
I'm surprised he has this much pull in the Triad in the urban areas, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
All right, Senator Bernie Sanders is introducing legislation that would create a standard 32-hour work week in which employees would be paid time and a half for any hours worked over 32 hours. Would you like to see this pass into law, and do you think it will, Ogie?
Well, that's a lovely thought, but I don't think we're ready for a 32-hour.
You don't think so?
Anything after 32 is time and a half. That's a nice thought, but I don't see it happening.
David?
I think we're going to migrate towards some version of that.
Really?
Now, here's the sticking point. The time and a half for over 32 hours, I believe, at least in our present economic situation, will hurt low-paid hourly workers because those employers won't allow them to get the time and a half.
Right, backfire on it. Keith, quickly.
I think that it's not going to work, but I do think that now, since COVID, more people want to work at home than work in the office.
All right, Virginia recently became the 2nd state to ban university legacy admissions. So this means that kids whose parents went to a public university will no longer get preferential treatment when applying to that school. Would you like to see that same ban apply here in North Carolina so that kids can't just get a free ride in there?
No, not. Think about it. Flounder would have never gotten in the Delta House if he weren't a legacy.
That's right.
Well, that would be no movie.
Yeah, what do you think about legacies?
I think there's 2 sides to this. Legacies can be good because they help promote particularly our state universities, which brings funding to the state universities, which means either state universities aren't going to have the same resources or the taxpayer has to pay more. The problem is when you connect legacy with donation money in getting in a student who's not qualified over another student who is.
Keith, should we get rid of legacies?
That's always been the case. Donation is going to get you into a university.
Yeah.
I'm not against legacies. I think it's okay, and it's not that many legacies that you have to make a difference.
Yeah, you gave me a big donation.
I gave
got
you $10 million, and you got me into
UNCG. All right, here in North Carolina, as you know, we elect judges here. We elect judges. We've talked about this before, but now playing politics is getting more and more severe with judicial decisions. Very quickly, would you like to see judges appointed like they are in some states, or just keep electing them like we do here? Ogie.
Well, if we could guarantee we would always have a Democratic governor, I'd be in favor of it.
All right.
But it wouldn't be any better than it is now.
David.
Well, Ogie's answer points out that appointing judges is just as political as electing them. I think we should go back to nonpartisan elections for judges and get rid of this out-of-state PAC money affecting elections.
You don't even know, in those cases, you don't know what party they're in. Quickly, Keith, appoint or elect judges.
I think you need to elect judges. Yeah, they need to be elected.
Very quickly, the CEO of Kellogg's came under fire recently for suggesting that folks who are on a tight budget should eat cereal for dinner. Critics said, oh, that's insensitive, it's politically incorrect. Ostensibly, was there anything wrong with his statement? Ogie, quickly.
I was not offended by that. I mean, I eat cereal pretty much every day.
David, quickly.
Lucky Charms for dinner? Who could argue with that?
You are a Lucky Charm. What do you think? Dinner for cereal?
I'm totally offended. This is a guy who's a multi-millionaire telling people to eat cereal. Why don't he cut some of his salary and give it to some other people and then see how that works for him? To eat cereal, right.
Finally, scientists now say that python farming is the way of the future because eating python meat is healthier than eating beef or pork. Guys, would you eat snake meat as part of your regular diet? Ogie.
I can't think of a worse occupation than being a python farmer. I hate snakes. I hate them.
Would you eat snake meat?
I've tried snake meat.
You have not.
I have. I've had rattlesnake. It's very, very good.
Would you eat snake?
I can tell you what I would do. I would cut it up, fry it, and give it to you.
Yeah. Well, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. All right, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this.
I know some snakes.
No, I know it. New Orleans has this problem. They just announced their problem. They're overrun with rats who are actually high on marijuana. Now, the good news is that Vice President Harris is pushing for decriminalization of pot, which means in the future, the rats in New Orleans that are on marijuana will not be charged with a felony. They'll be charged with a misdemeanor. Did you know that?
You worked on that one a long time.
Yeah, it took a long time. You got me off. We'll be back next week.